Ooh, child. Those military men is a mess. Hello, welcome back to another video. I am Brianna. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. Today we're just gonna jump right into another story time. I got my morning coffee. We're doing a story time pretty early today, okay? So I'm gonna be doing a story time about how this military, one of my shipmates, had me acting like a boo-boo the fool. We don't need to be acting like boo-boo the fool, ladies, but he got it on me. He got that one on me, and it's all good and gravy, but we're gonna get right into it. All right, guys, so this is going to be my story. I don't want any of you military wives going down my throat or anything like that. This is just my story, and I'm not saying all military men cheat. I'm just telling you from my experience, okay, guys? Your man ain't cheating on you. It's okay. This is just my experience, all right? So a little backstory. I'm just going to start off how I met this person, how this all happened. So I was in the military. I served. I did my 4 years. I put up the deuces. I got out. I was in the Navy, right? So in the Navy, we call each other shipmates. So a lot of time you would hear me say the word shipmate, right? And this is just my experience. The military gave me like a whole new look on relationships, good and bad. It was so many things that went on. It was so many times where we would come back from deployment and all of these men's wives were either pregnant or by them they were like, I'm 6 months pregnant. And I'm like, dude, we left like 7 months ago. What you mean? But you know, it is what it is. You know, what floats everybody's boats, what floats with each other boats. You know, we would be on deployment, we would hit ports, and they'd be like, man, I just tried to get some money out. I'm broke because my wife took out my money. Or they will find out that their wives were cheating on them when we got back from deployment. And that was just that side. And I'm not going to say that it was all the wives' fault because it's not that type of party. It's not the bash against military wives and military men, all right? But the men wasn't shit either. The men wasn't shit either. You know, in the military, I don't want to give all the dirt out, but in the military, we have what we call boat boos. You know, you're on the shit with these people. You live with them for 9 months. You sleep, eat, work. You with these people for 9 months straight, right? So relationships do form. Relationships do form, okay? So there were plenty of married people with boat boos in both ways. The women could be married, the men could be married, and they could be okay. Like when we're on deployment, you my boo. When we go home to our significant others. Again, disclaimer, I don't want anybody coming for me. This was just my experience that I saw with my own eyes, not saying that this was the story for everybody else, okay? But you know, you did have those type of relationships. So while I was on deployment, towards the end of the deployment, I started, you know, getting involved with a shipmate. You know, they say don't ever sleep where you lay your head. That's still true. But you know, you get lonely, you get bored, and you hitting these nice ports. You in Thailand, you in Dubai, you in Singapore, you in all of these places. So it's nice to have a little boo that you can go out with, hang out, get hotels, whatever, and come back to the ship. It's just what it is, okay? These are just stories from then. This is not my life now. This was just back then. But anyways, so, you know, he wasn't even really my type, but you know, you just had a buddy, right? We went to Hawaii together. We hung out. We went parasailing. Like we was cool. And you know, and we had this type of relationship where it was like he had someone, I had someone. Both of our people were in a whole nother state. At this moment, we're in Washington. I'm from Ohio, so my boo is still back in Ohio. He's from where he's from, and his boo is back where he's from. So both of our boos were people we were with like before we joined the military. I wasn't married, whatever, you know. We just had, he had a baby mother, and I had someone that I was with before. So we had this understanding that, you know, we just hanging out. We both know that I have someone, and I know that he has someone. I know it's not right, but this is my story. So we hanging out, we chilling, like we on the ship, you know. We at mid-rest. Mid-rest is where you eat dinner at midnight, because it's for the people that work third shift or graveyard. You know, we just hanging out, you know, we cool. We hit port, we cool, we hang out. We go do all our excursions together, like we having the time of our lives, whatever. But it was supposed to just be that. It was supposed to be a boat boo type of situation that lasted for the remainder of the deployment. But of course, when we got back home to port, when we pulled back into our home port, we had a little connection. We still liked each other. And that's where we fucked up at. We were supposed to leave that on the ship before we got home. So we get back home, we know we still hanging out. Now we hanging out with each other every day after work. Like after day work, we both going to each other's places, whatever. We hanging out, we doing whatever. So now we with each other like literally 24/7 besides work. Like as soon as we get off the ship, off of our work day, we with each other. So this was going on. And you know, it was cool. Like I was still in my relationship, he was still in his relationship, but I was kind of like, my relationship was one of those kind of situations where like I was with this guy before I went to the military, and I know like leaving him to go to the military can be hard on certain people. Everybody can't, you know, adjust to that. So I kind of felt bad, but I wasn't in love with him anymore. So it wasn't like I was cheating on somebody I was in love with. It was just that we had this chemistry together, and we were with each other for a few years. So it was more like he was my comfortability because I was with him for some years, and then I feel bad to like go away and leave him. But you know, at this time I was like 23, 24, and I'm like talking to him, like I'm trying to get him like, you know, let's come move to Washington, which was also asking a lot from him because he did have kids back in Ohio, and he was a little bit older than me. So like I kind of felt bad. He was already on his job for like 12 years. So I was asking a lot of him, but if you want to be my man, like why can't you do that? So he was just like, oh, he was also selling me a dream too. Like I would think about it, but every time it came down to like him actually doing it, it just never happened. And then every time I would go, like I was still going back and forth. I would go to Ohio like 2-3 times a year, and we would spend times, or he would come see me in Washington, or we would go on vacation to Vegas together. Like we were still like seeing each other. It wasn't like I just left him in Ohio and we didn't see each other forever, you know. I did do a 9-month deployment where I couldn't see him, but he was there. You know, we were talking on the phone. I called the military phone on the ship as jail phone, because it'd be a long ass line trying to get on that jail phone, and you get your $20 phone card, and that $20 phone card only gonna give you freaking 40 minutes. Yes. And oh, don't let someone not answer, because then it's gonna automatically take $2 off. Now when you call the next person, you don't have 40 minutes, you only got about 34 minutes. But anyways, we're not even gonna get into that. But we were still cool, and like I said, I wasn't really in love with him no more. It was just more of the we got history thing. But I was feeling this other guy or whatever, but not to the extent like I wanted to be with him. I didn't want to be with my boat boo either. That was more of like a fun type of thing, but we were just hanging out with each other every day. But I didn't want to be with him, you know? But anyways, so fast forward, me and boat boo, we still hanging out, but one day we end up getting into it. I don't even remember what we were arguing about. Well, we fell out. We fell out for about a week or two. Just a week or two. And then, you know, like those military men, ain't shit sometimes. So he started, you know, telling me everything I want to hear. And only thing about the military men, though, they gonna trick. They gonna give you everything you want. So you ain't got to worry about that. They gonna be some hoes. But they gonna give you everything you want. So that's how it was. It was like, he was like, oh, let's go shopping. And I'm like, I'm not gonna turn down no shopping. I ain't gonna fuck you, but we can go shopping. So that's how he got back in my good graces. We went shopping, he got back in my good graces, but we started hanging out. I'm like, I don't want to fuck you, but we cool. But eventually, you know, as adults, if you start spending 24/7 times with each other, things gonna happen again. And I ain't gonna lie. He was, that's a little bit too much information. I ain't gonna tell all that business. But anyways, we're gonna continue to call him Boat Boo in this story, okay? So me and Boat Boo, we cool. We together, but we ain't together. We know we were that entanglement or that situationship back then. That's what we used to call it, situationship, before entanglement became a word. It was considered situationship. So that's what we had. We had a situationship, right? But let's get to the day where he made me feel like Boo Boo the Food, where he had me acting crazy. Like, I ain't never acted crazy for nobody, but they always say crime happens in the heat of passion. And now I have to look at it like, woo, that really could have went down that way. I'm glad it didn't go down that way, but it could have really went down that way, right? So every morning we used to ride to the ship together. Even if we wasn't spending the night with each other that night, like we always rode to the ship together, whether he was coming to get me or the other way around. Like we always drove to the ship together, because when you drive to the ship, parking was always crazy, sometimes far, and we would just walk down to the ship together once we parked in the garage or whatever. So we did that all the time. So every morning, like he was either calling me or I was calling him. This if we didn't sleep together that night, you know. Usually we always did. But this one particular night, he didn't. He didn't sleep with me that night. I didn't sleep with him that night. So, but we were still like talking all night. So I still don't understand. You could be with a dude all the time and they would still find a way to do some fuckboy shit. Like and in this situation, like even though we didn't sleep we wasn't with each other that night, we were still like talking on the phone. Like we were still like hee-hee-haing all night. But anyway, so like I said, every morning, me and Bo Boo, we always went to the ship together, whether we were spending the night with each other or he was coming to get me or the other way around. So this particular morning, I wake up and we had to be, at that time, I think we were in dry. Were we in dry? No, we wasn't in dry dock yet. But we had to be on the ship at 6 o'clock. This other aircraft carrier had moved to our port. So we started going in early just to kind of like calm down the traffic coming in and out of the base. So we ended up having to start coming to work at 6 a.m., having to be there at 6 a.m. So it's like 4 something. I'm like, he ain't called me. I started blowing his phone up or whatever. And we on like the base, but like we up far. So we would always drive down to the garage that were like a little closer to our ship. But he was like in a whole different building than I was. But you know, that's just what we did. We had a key. He had a key. I had a key. You know, so we looked out for each other. We were kind of like. I wish we could have just stayed friends, because I think we would have made like really great best friends. But you know, it is what it is. But anyways, so I just open the door. I go in there, and like, house dark as fuck. Like you can't hardly see anything. So I get to the room, I open the door, and like I see him. And like not thinking nothing, and I'm like, I like hit him like, dude, like wake up, you about to be late to the fucking ship, like get your ass up. So he like, huh? I'm like, you about to be late. He like, oh shoot. So then like I turned around and I was like, I'll meet you at the ship, because now I'm mad as fuck. Like you ain't here to sleep. Now I'm mad as fuck. So I walked away. And as I was walking out his room, like as a woman, you know, we have this thing called woman intuition, right? So like something just wasn't right. I'm like, did I see anything? Like something wasn't clicking. Like something just was a little bit off to me. So I turned my ass. So yeah, it was just this little bug that told me like, hey, spin the block, turn back around. So I turned back around and I walked back towards the bed. And like I looked at him and I only see him, but I pulled the covers. And yes, girls, yes, he was laying in the bed with another girl. He was laying in the bed with another girl. They were in this motherfucker in the dark, knocked the fuck out. So at that moment, like all things was going through my mind, but I told myself, I was like, Brianna, walk your ass out this room, walk your ass out this goddamn house. It ain't worth it. Take your ass to that fucking ship and deal with this shit later. Cause it like nothing is worth my livelihood, nothing is worth my money, none of that. So that's what I was thinking. And this is a prime example of the angel and the devil on your back. So as I walked out, I'm like walking and I'm in the So I walk out, minding my business, like, okay, let me go to this shit. Like, I'm heated as fuck though. Like, I know this nigga didn't just try me. Like, I know he didn't just try me like this. So as I'm walking, and of course, like, I pass his car shining. He just got a car wash, looking nice, rims shining, everything. And I was like, no, Brianna, like, you way past that stage of life now. You don't do those type of things anymore. Just keep walking. But then the little devil on my back was like, Brianna, fuck everything up. Fuck it shit up, Brianna. The angel on my back was like, keep walking. Keep walking. You got so much shit to lose. You got so much shit to lose. Don't fucking do it. So this story is funny now because me and him, we both can laugh about it because we know the truth, and like, we over it. We still talk. We still catch up. We still, like, we don't talk in that way, but every, like, once a year we catch up and see how each other are doing, how the kids doing, blah blah blah. But nothing more than that, okay? But anyways, Angel was telling me, keep walking. Don't even fall for it. Don't be boo-boo the fool. But the devil was like, bitch, do he know who you are? Do he know who you are? So I walked. And just like how I was in that room where I walked to the door and something told me to turn back, the devil won. I ain't gonna lie. That's the one time that the fucking devil won. So, you know, I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still, you know, but sometimes the devil wins, but you got to get back up. That's all this is. You just got to get back up. But anyways, I turned back around. It was this fucking white ass rock. I picked a rock up, and of course, what happened. So I get to the ship, and he started blowing my phone up like, I know you didn't just do this. You didn't key my car. And I'm like, dude, I did not fucking key your car. Like, why would I fucking key your car? And he like, don't play stupid. Don't play stupid. You did this. And I'm like, I didn't. I did not key your car. And the whole time, the story, that's all I kept saying was, I did not key your car. I did not key your car. Because technically, I didn't fucking key his goddamn car. But anyways, he went and told on me. My chief come up to me like, hey Winslow, like, did you da? And I'm like, no. And he like, are you lying? Did you key his car? He said you keyed his car. I'm like, this little nigga, like, he's a fucking bitch. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, no. So it was just some hearsay, he say. Nothing happened. We, like, you know, he mad. And then the next day, like, he was still trying to freak me, guys. The next day, he was trying to, and you think I did something? Like, you toxic as fuck. And at that time, I didn't know how toxic his ass was. But I was cool. I didn't mess with him like that again. But we end up, like, becoming friends again. And then he asked me, and I ended up telling him the truth. Like, nigga, when you kept saying I keyed your car, I didn't key your car because I rocked that motherfucker. But anyways, that is the story of when this military man made me act boo-boo the fool. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. You will love it here. And all this month, during this month, I will be telling some horror stories. So please stick around to the next one. Bye.